Hi everyone, just me again, still looking tired. I'm in the middle of, sorry, my connection's being a bit funny, so bear with me. And I thought I would show you, once you roll the quilt up to do the next line, even though you've dragged and dropped on your screen on the Pro Stitcher, you still need to tweak that pattern to make sure that it lines up and it misses. So I'm going to try and go through this and see if you can follow along. For those who have the Pro Stitcher, those who don't and are thinking of having it can see how good this can be for you. At the moment, I'm going to turn it around. Now I'm doing a feather, just a standard feather, edge to edge on this quilt for a lovely lady. And you can see up here on the screen, I don't know if I can get in, oh yeah, there we go. I can get in a little bit closer, it shows there. Now this green dot here is where I want to get to. That there is because I had the bobbin empty and I had to restart the start position again, so which is something you can do. So say if the thread breaks, you can go back, tie off, bury the thread and restart at the spot that that it broke at, and not have to unpick all the way back to the start of the line. So you can see here I've tapped on drag and I have my needle in the down position. Now I'm going to release that there, and I've taken off my clamps because I use these fellas, which means that I can float. These are $98 for a set of 4. For this machine, they work perfectly. So I'm just going to loosen that up a bit because it's got tight under there with those things, and I really keep it loose. So, all right. So then what I have to do is, now I've got it dragged, it's going to drag my pattern. So I'm going to release this, and I don't know if you can see, but that red line is where my needle is going. Now if I move that, the pattern is going to move up the page with me. So I'm going to just roll, you see in the back there, all my stuff. So I'm loosening off this one. So it's got lots of slack on the back. And I'm going to go up here in the centre. And you'll see the needle, because it's in the down position, is rolling back. And as that's happening, it's rolling the actual panto up on the screen. So it's literally moving it up with the needle. As I move, it'll move the actual pattern. Okay, so now I've got that nice and loose. I've allowed extra room because my pattern goes up in here and I don't want it to hit that back thing and square off my edges. So I'm just going to, again, neaten that up, get it nice and flat, work my way back and forwards. There's a lot of walking. People say you don't do any exercises with this. Is completely wrong. Okay, so I've just got that taut, but not so taut that it's sitting, there's the board of the bed of the machine there. So it's actually sitting on it. So it's not so taut that it's going to bounce. I don't want it to bounce when it's quilting. That's when you get needles stuck. That's when stitches skip and all sorts of horrible things go wrong. So again, I'm just pulling it, not too tight, just keeping it nice and flat. And you can see there's lots of little threads, which happens with most quilts. And as I go along quilting, I actually trim them off. All right, now I've clipped them back in. That one I didn't take out at all. I've got bungee ropes and I'm going to put them on there. Oops, a daisy, got him all tangled. And I'm going to put that one on there. And that just helps keep that backing taut but not pulled to an inch of its life. Okay, so that makes all these lines nice and straight. The side is nice and straight. I can look down here and see that it's straight down here. I just come along to the other side and I just make sure the other side's the same. Pop on these fellas. I need to be a little bit tighter, it's a bit slack in there. The more fabric you have on the side, the more slack you'll have. So it's just got to come in a little bit and just sit nicely. Okay, so that's that done, and now I put these fellas on. So these, I clip onto that other bar there. They just pop on. One-handed is a bit hard. Okay. And all this time, I have to put you down for a second. Bear with me. Put that one on, 2 hands. All right. So I've got them on now. You can see that? I make sure the quilt's not sitting on the ground, which it's not. Now, I've still got it in drag, and it's asking me if I'd like to drop that pattern, and so I'm going to drop. Once that's dropped, I can then pick up my needle. So my needle is now moved, and now I can see whether, this is when I check as to whether it's going to cross over. So the 2 patterns, the previous line and the one I'm about to do is going to cross over. This is where you do a little bit of tweaking. So I'll go up to my pattern and I'll go to Pro Stitch, because the first thing I want to do is change, that's my start. See if I can zoom in there. See that big green round thing? Oops, a daisy. Zoom back out again. That one there, that one is my start position. So if I go over to jump, it'll jump, and you watch that green round dot to there. So that's where I want to be. Okay? Now, that's all good and well, and theoretically you'd say we're in the right position, but I'm just going to zoom in. That crosshair there is where my needle sits. Now, if I look down on here, you can see I've got my needle right on the edge of that feather. See there? And I want to move it across here. And on my screen, where that crosshair is, I want to put it right where the closest point is for the line before. So that is, if they're going to cross over anywhere, they're going to cross over there because they're so close, okay? So then what I do is I go to horizontal lock, and along here, I make sure that on each one of those, these ones, not this one, but this one, that it misses. And it is. It is. And it's got to be the same distance too. That's the other thing. You can't have one, you know, this far away and the other one that far away. They've got to be the same. So I'm just double checking. I hope you can see. It's a bit hard to see. And you can see where that thread is. That's telling me where I'm going to stitch. Now, that to me looks like it's a little bit lower than the others, so I'm just going to push the quilt down a little, and that is literally me doing that with the quilt. And I'll go along to this one, and again I'll just tweak it there. You can see the quilt just moves that fraction. Same with this. All it means is sometimes when you're rolling up a quilt, it can roll up uneven. That one there. And across to here, you can see it misses all of them. And that is a perfect roll. That's what you want. But when I look down, I can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, it's a little bit loose here. So I get this one and I just click at one, just to give it a little bit tighter. Okay, so I go back to my screen, and you can see that is everything. That's what I've done. This is what I'm going to do. So I'll zoom into here, and you can see this is where it's going to start. And I always make sure that it's going to start either off the edge, you know, not too far out, or right on the edge. Before I go to even start, I also need to stitch down these side seams. If I don't stitch them down with a basting stitch, then the chances are they could get caught up in the quilt as I go. So I'm going to just move her all the way along here. I'm going to put down my speed, or my stitch size, down to 5. 6 is fine, 5 is good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold on to that, and I'm going to try and get you to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to go needle down, needle up. Move that out of the way and grab that bobbin thread and put the needle down. Okay. Now I'm going to press start. Okay. And that turns that green. It won't move. I'll take it off horizontal lock, which I've just done. It won't move until that goes green. And once I start moving, I can see that I'm stitching down the side there, just nice and steady. Okay, and then stop. And once you've stopped, this is where I'm doing it with one-handed, by the way. You should be very proud of me. Pull that thread out a little bit, come back, hang on to that thread, needle down, needle up, and that'll bring up that bobbin again. And then you can go here, here, and that cuts off your bobbin. That there is my thread from when I started. And that's one side done. And now I'll go and do the same to the other side. So, enough. Sorry, the dog was barking and the internet went silly. So again, I'm doing this side. And I can see that this side's a little bit looser. So just, normally I'd hold with one hand, stitch with the other. But holding a phone at the same time is not easy. And I'll just get up to the end and come back there. Now, the reason why I also do that is that tells me that is where the throat of the machine will go to. I know that whatever pattern I do, it cannot be any wider than that gap I've got. Otherwise, it's going to hit the end of the bar here, this bar, and if it hits that bar, I've got to zoom out again. If it hits that bar, it's just going to throw the whole mechanics off of the machine and everything. So again, I move it back out, come back in, grab that thread, needle down, needle up again. That brings up the bobbin. Sorry for the furries. Now I'm going to put my speed back up, and I'm going to put it back up to 12 stitches per inch because that's what I'm working on. And on this machine, if I go to resume, it'll just resume for as per normal. So if I go resume, and I just hang on to that thread when it first starts so I can grab that bobbin out from underneath, because I don't really want to get that all tangled up. And I just grab the bobbin, there it is. Try not to get stitched into it. Come on, there it is. A bit short, but it's there. So now I know that it won't get tangled up in the back. So I'll just trim that off. And there you go. You've had instructions on how to roll up your quilt, move your pattern, make sure that it's nice and level, and off she goes. Look, Mum, no hands. I hope you enjoyed. This is my Quilt Maker Pro 18 from Janome, purchased through Statewide Sewing Centre, and I just love her. She is a dream to work with, and I have very little if no issues. I use a lot of deco bob in my bobbin, pre-wound, so that my tension is perfect every time. And very rarely do I have to adjust the bobbin tension at all. And it's due to those bobbins, that's for sure. So here she goes. She's going to quilt the 60,000th row. Alright, so back to me and my tired face. I've just made my third coffee for the last half an hour and it's gone cold each time because I keep doing stuff. So I hope you enjoyed. If you've got any questions or you need any help, look, feel free to message me. I'm only too happy to help if I can. If I can't, I'll find someone who can help you. Okay, chat to you soon. Bye.